Welcome back to the class, everyone. Let me just say before we start with this video, this is not about the 5 characters that suck the most. This video is about the fact that Galactic Legend Leia just came out. You need her for the new raid, but you're still missing 3 other Galactic Legends. Your Leviathan isn't 7 stars yet, and every YouTuber out there is telling you that you need to be ready for when Cal Kestis comes back, and you're just gasping for air, asking the question, if I really need all these things, what out there can I skip for a marginal loss? So as previously stated in that very passionate intro, the whole point of this video is looking at 5 main normal teams that we're all going to end up building because of the requirements that are involved in them. But what is the one character that really doesn't move the needle when it comes to a lot of PvP viability? They can really be skipped and can be substituted with something much easier. So how this format is going to go is the top line that we're going to see here is the team, for example, Bad Batch. The following character in the next line is going to be the character you can skip, sorry Omega, and then the other characters in the line are going to be suggestions that can fill her place. So the Bad Batch team is really good. It does have a ton of Chirotech involved with it in general, but it is aimed at beating a lot of teams like Qui-Gon Jinn and General Grievous, and ultimately, you need all 4 of these characters at R5 to be able to get Lord Vader, if that is at any point your intention. That being said, Omega right now isn't really needed for anything, at least at the very low level. I don't know if you need her for Zepho, but really doing Zepho, I guess. That being said, there are several other characters that slot into the Bad Batch team that help you beat all of the normal things they were already beating, like Qui-Gon or Grievous or Geos or whatever it is. Cody and Sarge themselves are requirements for JMK, a very popular Galactic Legend for a lot of newer players, as well as Shakti, who is also a requirement for, I believe, multiple events. She can be slotted in, and you can get very similar results as to what you can with Omega. Again, I realize Omega is the ideal 5th. Not only is she Bad Batch herself, she had some nice damage and turn meter, but she also closes the gap with Wrecker, giving him all 10 points of Furious at the very beginning of the battle, and making it so that he taunts. But at the end of the day, if your Echo's, 350 speed, going before the enemy team, ripping all their stuff off, you really need to be taunting that quickly off the bat to begin with. So overall, I'm going to go ahead and say that she is a character for most players that is skippable. Obviously, I have her because I had the luxury to be able to go and get around a character like that. Next up is going to be the Starkiller team. The Starkiller team is a very good team. While it has a lot of viability on both offense and defense, about 9 times out of 10 where people are using it is against Rey. And at the end of the day, if you're using Starkiller with Emperor Palpatine and Mara Jade, you already have all the tools you need to be able to get that counter to work, and it really doesn't become that important to have the best light side unaligned force user, which is Visas Mar. Visas Mar once again kind of falls into the same category as Omega, where I realize she is the best for the team. That's why I have her relicked up. But at the end of the day, she's not doing all that much for the team. A lot of people out there are using JTR that they had to randomly gear up for their JML that wasn't all that important. And now they just throw into the team to meet the specific qualifications of Starkiller's unique, and suddenly they can beat Galactic Legend Rey without really having to worry about gearing up a whole new character with a Zeta and mods and everything like that. Other substitutes for the team are honestly any other light side unaligned first user. It doesn't matter. I do like her cleanse. I like her defense penetration, but there is so much already built into Starkiller's kit. He doesn't need all the extra oomph that Visas is going to be giving. So JTR, Cal Kestis, if you had him geared up because you're like, oh, he would go great with my Rey. Now your Rey team is different because Rey teams change every single month. You can also slot him in. They don't really do anything super fantastic, but at the end of the day, what you're really looking for is something that is going to complete the Starkiller unique, because as you all should know after the amount of videos we made on this, you can't just put Starkiller into some rando team. He has to meet very specific requirements of having 1 unaligned dark side force user as well as 1 unaligned light side force user as well as a Jedi and a Sith. So definitely pick a light side unaligned force user to stick in there, but know that it does not necessarily have to be Visas to beat the vast majority of things out there. Next up is going to be Mon Mothma. Now, this is the turn meter Mon Mothma team that is commonly used right now on defense. It can also be used to clean up Jabba and some other Galactic Legends on offense. That being said, one of the most popular fists, and really the ideal fifth for the team that exists right now, is Cara Dune, but she's not really needed to do everything that team does anymore. When she first came out, she had very good anti-Empire synergy, with her unique specifically getting 100% turn meter when an Empire enemy is defeated, as well as getting to reduce turn meter and stunning Empire allies. The big issue with this right now is a really well modded Gideon is going to outspeed pretty much any Mon Mothma team out there. And Iden, the other main counter that is also Empire, really doesn't care if you stun all 5 of her characters at once and reduce turn meter, because they get all that turn meter back immediately from attacking at a turn. And even then, when you're trying to clean up other Galactic Legends with Mon Mothma, Cara Dune isn't even ideal. She reduces turn meter against Jabba, who just ends up feeding his protection up and doesn't actually become an asset on the team and actually more of a liability. And that being said, similar to the other characters we've looked at so far, you've probably already had to gear up some other random rebel fighter to be able to get, say, JML or Profundity, and we can even include Lando Calrissian if you wanted to. He's required for quite a few things. You can just slot in the team so that you can make sure that Mon Mothma is still gaining and giving all these shared stats from all the Rebel fighter allies. I do encourage you not to just pick some random Rebel like Hera that you had to gear up for Profundity, because they really do need to be Rebel fighters for her leadership to take advantage of everyone. It says at the start of the battle, if Mon Mothma is in the leader slot, which she should be, and all Rebel fighter allies gain 8% of their combined base stuff. So if you cut out a Rebel fighter there and put in some random Rebel, you cut not only that character from getting all the stuff, but they also don't get to contribute to all the stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed my word swapping there, just to save a little bit of time on the video. So Cara Dune ultimately can be swapped out for one of these, and even these tunes up top, they're fairly important to get the team to function as well. But if you really want to, you can make a semi-decent Mon Mothma team, even just with requirements. Specifically, because Kyle Katarn is one for Starkiller. Next up, and this is going to be the spiciest one, and that also is another way of saying bad. And it probably is not going to age well anywhere outside of GAC, but that is Treya. The Treya team is very important right now. It's countering the Third Sister or Reva squad in GAC very well. That being said, when SWGOH got his GAC Omicron, he took the place of the tank in the team just because of how well he does it. And now you don't really even need another tank, aka Sion, the other main Sith Triumphant character, him being a part of the trio with Darth Treya and Nihilus. Treya is obviously very important because for Omicron as well as her leadership. Nihilus, the Annihilate, is nice to knock out things like gas so that he can eventually just wear the team down. Talon gives a lot of nice things like turn meter, extra health, and prevents the enemy from going right after Darth Treya. Sion, he's good. Again, this team is not about 5 characters that suck. Sion is a good character. But the team is still doing everything that it should be doing, even if he's not on the team. And again, there are several other Sith characters that you're required to gear up that can just slot into the team that will produce very similar results. The only thing that I will say about this is I think, again, with SWGOH being so tied to GAC, Sion does become a little bit more crucial, specifically for Proving Grounds, to be able to beat the Third Sister in that event, because Sion is a tank, and not only is he that, he does give some very nice bonuses to Nihilus as well as Treya, because of whenever he's hit or debuffs, they get bonuses based off of that because of the whole direct synergy of the Sith Triumvirate. But for the most part, you can kind of do without it. Set is also a very good tank that can be slot into the team if you're not using him elsewhere. Sith Assassin's turn meter is nice, and then Red Trooper. The main reason why he's here is if you're one of those people that had to gear him up because it was a requirement for the Leviathan, and you don't have a first order team, you can slot him in. So again, a lot to do here without necessarily having to relic or gear someone all the way up. Next up is going to be Iden, and this one seems pretty acceptable, and in fact, I would group Snow Trooper in with Magma Trooper over here. So looking at the item team overall, they already really have everything they need to function when you look at Iden, Death, and Stormtrooper. Stormtrooper is a fantastic tank. Iden is obviously the leadership, and then Death Trooper is a really good support in the sense that he really helps you control the battle by giving out really crucial debuffs as well as increasing enemy cooldowns, and his damage isn't even that bad either. That being said, you don't really need to focus in on the last 2 characters. Like, ideally, when you're breaking out all of your Empire teams, it is nice to have Shore Trooper and Moff Gideon kind of as leftovers that can be fit into several different squads because they have viability as plug-and-play characters. Shore Trooper being a pre-taunt, as well as Moff Gideon just, you know, fitting to every team for every reason that we've ever mentioned before. But you don't need to put Magma in place here. If you had to gear up Stark specifically as you're going after C, and you're still able to make a good Veers team without him, which you can't do, by the way. You can just slot him in. Scout Trooper has the same exact comparison, but for Leia rather than Sith Eternal. And then Shore Trooper, there's a good chance that you geared him up because, you thought he was a good pre-taunt. He was a good pre-taunt, but you don't necessarily need Magma in here to make this work. And again, you don't even, you could interchange Snow Trooper as well. While I do like him and he does fit all the specific criteria for Iden, you can use the other characters. And I will say, do be careful with this though. Iden has very strict and slightly odd requirements for who can be in her team. She really doesn't want to have anyone with a leader tag, which all the characters below don't have a leader tag, but they also can't be droids. So we can't make any substitutes for Snow and Magma like Dark Trooper himself, because Dark Trooper's a droid, or Veers or Piet or any of the other Imperial troopers that have leadership ability. So again, not a video about 5 characters who suck, but really if you're looking to cut corners, as you just have so much to farm and you can't really commit to going gung-ho on all the things, especially for when they have very marginal losses, these are the 5 characters for you. We have Magma Trooper, Scion, Kara, Visas, and Omega herself. Hope you guys liked the video, and until the next time, stay awesome.